editing is choppy.
Yeah.
Do you know that? Okay, so you said it was like a 10 out of 10, right?
Almost a 10 out of 10, yeah.
See, I nearly agree. Like, I gave it a 9. Spoiler alert.
All right, here, go to YouTube real quick.
Realistically, I think the movie is about an 8. But I also think the movie is also a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I think the movie is
okay.
genuinely like a 9 out of 10.
The reason why I said 9 is because I believe after maybe some time, it will be recognized more as probably an 8. But the movie itself, the cinematography, the music, dude, holy cow, the music. The music and the sound effects, like, and the cast, the acting, this movie believes that it's a 10 out of 10. That's what makes it unique. It's one of those rare movies where, like, you know, like other 10 out of 10s I think are like Jurassic Park and like Empire Strikes Back, but they were just very, you know, they were very unique. But this movie is unique in the sense of it spends its time not really like, not that it necessarily is a 10 out of 10, but it sure does, like, it pitches it to you through the whole movie. Like, it continuously, like, slides over a note and says, we are a 10 out of 10, right? And then they'll wait a little bit and say it again. Like, they hammer it into your head, right? They use the visuals, they use the sound to psychologically convince you that this movie is epic.
Oh, they didn't have to psychologically convince me. I think that was genuinely a 9 out of 10.
But that's exactly why. Because I think when you take the story apart and you kind of look at it from all details, a little bit of it, I have issues with a few things, and some things don't quite add up, and I think some things hit a little bit more flat. But because of, like, a good amount of general scenes in the movie and it's similar in the sense of Star Wars. Like, Empire Strikes Back is one of the best Star Wars movies. The best Star Wars movie. Is the acting that great? No, not really. It's way better than New Hope, but it's still not great. But all the stuff around it in the world just sucks you in. And so you're like, oh, this is perfect. Not because the movie itself is perfect, but because everything, like, when everything is stacked up, it convinces you that it is perfect. And I think Dune enters that threshold of the few movies that really probably aren't masterpieces, but it subconsciously convinces you that it is, because it manipulates you a little bit with visuals and sound to where you say with no question, you walk out and say, oh yeah, like, that was a fantastic masterpiece. You think about it a little bit, you kind of start to see the cracks, but then you go right back into, oh, but this was awesome, and this was awesome.
Well, I'll tell you,
it's a very unique situation.
I'll tell you why I don't mind the cracks. Because this movie is based off of a book that everyone deemed impossible to make a movie on. Like, the story, the only Dune Part 1 is essentially straight from the book. There's nothing different, nothing added in. And this one is straight from the first book. And all he added was, like, the aspect of the Fremen, some of them not thinking Paul is the chosen one. That was all the stuff he added. In the books, they're just like every single one is buying in. But other than that, the story is like straight from the book. So
there are 6 books.
Yeah. So therefore, I do not think the story brings it down at all. Because it's not even really, it's not the movie's story, it's a book story.
Yeah. I think that, like, well, first of all, like, Timothy Chalamet is very, like, me, and I think that works to his advantage, like as a character. But I still just can't get over the fact that he's also like really Wonka, and
Yeah.
that kind of vibe, like just his natural like looks. Like he's very young, of course. I know he's young in the story books, but regardless, I still think like Christopher Walken is very strange.
He is.
And
He's the
I talked about it's like
he's the strangest part of it for sure.
He's from the South.
Yeah, he's definitely the strangest. But it didn't bother me as much. Like I didn't care. Like I was like, man, this is just amazing. It's good to be in the movies.
Yeah, that's fair. Can you move your screen anywhere? Like your little screen? Can you move it anywhere?
How's that?
Wait, I have to wait for it to catch up. The video is way behind. Like right now, I'm just talking about asking me to move it. Right, center.
Yeah, I can put it literally anywhere. I had it right there because of the show. Would have been the last thing that I actually live streamed. Yeah, I can move it literally anywhere. I can make it bigger. I can make it smaller.
Is it? Oh, so you can't make it bigger.
Yep.
I think if you're recording a trailer reaction, I think you should put it in the bottom left, or the top left. Either one doesn't matter. And I make it a little bit bigger. Too big.
I made it smaller. You just wait.
Perfect. I think. Sweet.
How's the game audio compared to me talking? Because I don't have my headset on right now.
Well, while I'm on the call with you, I can't really tell, but
Gotcha.
do you have a microphone to like talk with?
Sure.
Okay, well, I can hear you clearly. It'd probably be better if I wasn't on the phone, but
I'll wave my microphone at you.
so are you talking using the microphone?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Put the microphone closer to your face.
And I can turn it up. I have it turned down. Hello, hello. Now the microphone is pointed directly at me, and I've turned it up on the computer. I would probably be talking this loud in a live stream or a recording.
Sweet. Perfect. Love it. Alright. Good deal. Alright, now I've gotten a sample of that. So yeah, whenever you're reacting to trailers and stuff like that, if you could do that, that would be great. Whenever reacting to trailers and stuff, I can pull it up on my computer, and I don't really know how to stream, I guess.
It's easy on a computer. You have to have an Elgato if you stream. Like,
Okay, well,
not if you stream.
because what I need to do is just have Nehemiah watch it, and then for me to screen record the actual trailer, crop it to where, obviously it doesn't show all the YouTube stuff, and then put it, wherever it is I need to, and put him wherever it is I need to.
Well, I can show you how to record.
And I'll have the audio ready from the video itself.
Well, I can show you, like, on the laptop, it'd be real easy to, like, you could download, I use Streamlabs, is what I stream and record with, and you could just plug in a microphone, USB, into the laptop, and you would add that as your audio input capture, and then use the laptop's webcam. You'd add it as a source. I could show you how to do all that. And then, like, if you wanted to, you could have him, for sound like purposes, you could HDMI the laptop to the TV and have him watch the TV for the trailer. And, well, with a laptop it'd be a little harder.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you could do that, you just wouldn't be able to monitor Streamlabs like I am right now on the second screen. Like, you could set it up, then record, switch the laptop screen to where you're watching the trailer, and then go back and watch the recording and see if it looked right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, Streamlabs is super simple. Very, very easy to set up.
June 3 gets cautious update from Denis Villeneuve. He said, "I do not like to comment on Dune Messiah, so it is officially called that, because I'm writing it, and when I'm writing, I love to shut up because it's a very delicate time where things are fragile and ideas evolve. I like to talk about movies when they're alive, finished, and strong enough to walk by themselves. Dune Messiah is barely an embryo."
It's gonna be so good. Everybody says that Dune Messiah is a freaky ass book. It's gonna be so good. I've seen some things on TikTok that potentially spoil what's gonna happen. I won't say anything because, like, I don't want you to get into it.
I also kind of got spoilers with stuff because
I've seen it in memes.
Listening to someone talk, like, I was trying to listen to, like, how the first two movies, like, fit into the book, and then he kind of quickly really went through information from all the books.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, so...
Yeah,
and
so...
all 6 books takes place over, like, 34,000 years.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
The spoiler, which granted I'm sure he'll do it because he'll base it off the book, but I wish I didn't know because it could be so cool. It'll still be cool, but...
Well, apparently, Dune Part 1 and 2 is just only, like, one book.
Yeah, it's only the first book.
So is there going to be, like, 12 movies, or is it going to kind of...
No, I think he's going to end it on 3, and then maybe with the success, maybe some shows will come of it, because the Angry Joe, he talks about how weird the books are, like, especially books 4, 5, and 6.
Oh my gosh, they're so weird, dude.
It'd be perfect for a show format.
Like his kids and other kids do, like, these weird things.
Yeah.
So, like, like, everything that happens?
Well, not everything. I'm making an assumption of one critical thing. So, we won't talk about it.
Well, I mean, I already know a lot of information. I don't care if you talk about it. We just won't.
No, but I don't. Else. I just know. I only know one thing, but, like, it's a big thing. So I'm not gonna. I will not elaborate further because I don't want you to tell me something.
You don't want me to tell you something you don't know?
Yeah.
I see. Okay. Well, I pretty much know all the information now. Whatever it is, the guy that told me. So.
Yeah.
So I'll just keep my mouth shut. It didn't, like, ruin it for me. It just...
No, what I know doesn't ruin it for me either.
After the third book, it's really hard to follow.
Yeah.
So, But, anyways, yeah, I just wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about that piece of the recording aspect. And, how do you think I should handle the sports section? Like, I'm going to be honest. This is a very jarring situation.
Yeah, I don't envy you. I'll say that.
I wonder, like, should I just compromise with them and be like, hey, just wear a blazer, or a sport coat?
I don't know.
Because I don't want to have to get it to a point where they start causing problems all the time.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's incredibly frustrating that they're not taking it as seriously as literally everyone else. And
but they genuinely believe that they've already pre-assumed that the audience will not like them wearing suits.
right. And like so there's that side, and then the other side is it worth losing that aspect of the channel over clothing? So that's what the battle is.
Yeah, it's losing, well, and I also have to think about harm friendships as well.
Right.
Because if I just tell them to screw off, or like, you should have heard what the manager said yesterday when I told him about it. I talked to you about him like a couple episodes before, but his name is Lance.
Yeah.
He's like 6'5", 6'6". He used to play basketball for Reed Spring, actually.
Yeah.
And super solid guy. I told him about it, and I said, hey, because he's in management, I was like, these guys, like, we signed this contract, we agreed to this, we did, whatever, and they came, and they were dressed not in that attire. And I was like, how would you handle that? And he said, well, it sounds to me like they're not a part of it anymore. Which I thought was a pretty harsh approach.
Yeah.
But I get what he was saying. He was like, his explanation was, you signed the contract and you willingly chose to not do what you said you would do.
Yeah.
Because, one, you thought that it would be more beneficial for you to dress in a way that you wanted to. Two, you didn't run it by, the boss beforehand. And three, when the boss came in to talk to you about it, you continued to fight back on it.
Yeah.
So at what point does this become too much of a problem where either I just let them do whatever they want and I keep forcing you guys to dress up and they can just, do whatever? Or do I get to a point where I'm like, okay, like, I can't deal with this. This is too frustrating. I don't want to deal with this every Sunday. Please leave.
Yeah.
Because that can easily drive a wedge between me and the others.
Yeah.
So, and I don't want to drive a wedge between me and Spencer for sure.
Yeah.
He's the one I'm most worried about because he had so much fun.
Yeah.
He said he had so much fun doing it, and I don't want to take that away from him.
Well,
I just want them to do one little thing. That's it.
I think Spencer would actually dress up. He's just following the other two.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to call up Jefferson probably at some point to try to get his unfiltered opinion on it, because he didn't talk very much when it happened.
Yeah.
Kendall did all the talking. Spencer just made a comment about how he didn't really have a blazer, and I told him, I was like, oh, I will help you go get one. I will put in money to help you get a blazer if that means that everybody can be unified.
Right.
I do not care. So, but Jefferson didn't seem to say much at all.
Yeah.
So I was like, I want to get his unfiltered opinion, because that way, if I can convince, this is some real psychological manipulation here, but if I get Spencer and Jefferson individually on board with what I need, then they could possibly talk to Kendall, and then that would allow for Kendall to rethink what he's doing, so that he can match what his two co-hosts are doing.
Right. Well, I just...
And then if the other two dress up and he doesn't, then I can call him out on it.
Yeah. And just keep in mind that Kendall is the last one to join. He was the one most adverse to doing this, and he's the one giving you the most issue.
That's true, but he was only adverse because of time, not because of content. He only agreed. He only told me he wouldn't be able to do it because he said he doesn't have the time to commit to that every Sunday. And
Gotcha.
then all of a sudden, when we recorded a Big City Bulls episode, and I talked to him a little bit about it, he said, "Oh, by the way, I have time for that now." And I was like, "Okay, well, do you want to do this for the sports section?" And he said, "Yeah, that sounds fun." And you know, you and Caleb left, but then you and Caleb left before they were done, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they got done, and we all laughed and talked like we normally did.
Yeah.
And every single one of them gave me hugs and everything. So, you know, like, it was as normal, but I could feel this tension of, like, how do I get them to respect me enough where I'm like, hey, I asked you guys to do this, please do this.
Right. Yeah.
If you think that apparel shouldn't matter, then why would you do something like if apparel doesn't matter, right? Which is what some people have said, like if the apparel doesn't affect your content, then why would you choose to do something different than what you said you would do?
Yeah.
If you truly feel like it really doesn't matter, but they felt like wearing sports related attire or something closer to the sports in our local area would help viewers. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not really looking for a local sports network.
Right.
I'm looking for someone who can go broad.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I want you to be able to talk about whether, you know, if the Milwaukee Bucks, you know, lost to the Miami Heat, and none of those three are going to be Heat fans or Milwaukee Bucks fans, probably.
Right.
So they don't need to dress up in Milwaukee Bucks jerseys and hats.
Yeah.
So I know that, and this is something Caleb had told me when I was on the phone with him, because he told me, well, you know, our dream career is not to be news anchors. So, you know, forcing people to dress up in that attire may be a little bit strange.
Yeah, but I don't look at it as a news anchor.
Huh?
I don't look at it as a news anchor. He might.
I don't either.
I don't. So he's just
I
assuming.
look at it as like a news, like not like a news crew, but just more informational. And I asked my grandparents, like, if you were to watch KY3 or MSNBC, or if my grandpa were to watch First Take with Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp, would it be weird for them to show up in t-shirts and shorts? And they were like, yeah, that's weird.
Right.
And I said, if it's about the content and not the apparel, and I'll ask you this, Zach. If it's not about the apparel and it's about the content, so the content is mostly information related with some chemistry and personality. If there's two people who have the exact same content, word for word, one of them is dressed up in a Nike hat and a plain black shirt, the other one is dressed up in a suit and tie and is well groomed and well fixed, who are you more likely to listen to?
Right. Yeah.
Just off of, not off personal experience, but off of first initial reaction.
Yeah.
when someone walks in a room in a suit and tie, the first thing you think is, oh, that person means business.
Yeah.
When you show up for an interview, for a job, do you show up in a short sleeve polo and jeans? Or do you show up in, like, a nice button-up dress shirt and slacks? You know? And maybe if it's a real big job, a suit and tie.
Right.
That's the point. There is casual conversation, but it's through the lens. Or it's about expelling and giving important information through the lens of a casual conversation. So we don't always act the part, but we want to look the part. To convince our audience that they can rely on us. Not because a lot of these companies, they have big names now, like IG and stuff. They don't have to worry as much about what they wear, except for whenever they go out to events and stuff, because they already have a following. They don't, they can gain a little bit more, but they don't need to.
Yeah, well, they've never been a channel to show themselves.
Right. They mostly do a lot of voiceover stuff. So, anyways, that's just what I was curious about, how that looked. But I'll figure out a way to deal with it.
Yeah.
Are you excited for the trip this weekend?
I am.
Me too.
Be nice to
That'd
get
be
away.
Well, I should probably go ahead and let you go because I gotta do some stuff and I'm gonna go sit with Lauren for a bit. But thanks for staying on the phone for quite a while. It was stuff that I felt like we needed to go over, and I think that you can help introduce these ideas to the others as well. Like before I sit, all three of you down and be like, this is kind of how I see it going on.
Yeah, we'll, especially next week, whenever we start getting stuff together.
And that way, like, next week, I have the entire week off.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to be spending time doing is I'm going to be proactive, and I'm going to make sure that I have all the graphics and the background formats. I'm going to have the video length, I'm going to have it ready to go. So that whenever we record, I can just upload it and insert it, and all the music, the intros, are all ready to go. All I would need to do is and maybe put up a few extra graphics if I need to, put a couple transitions in, and everything will be done. It'll make it so much easier.
Yeah.
When everything's pre-made. But anyways, I'll go ahead and let you go.
Alrighty. It's a pleasure as always.
Alright, I will see you later.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
I knew you'd come to stand before the Elder. What a sad state of affairs. I commend your spirit, but alas, none shall take the throne. Queen Micah has high hopes for us, that we continue unto it. My fellow, you fought well until now. fought well until now. You fought well until now. You fought well until now. You fought well until now.